I thought I was finally starting to feel normal again, that maybe the worst had passed. But then he showed up, my husband's best friend, like he always did, just checking in. Only this time I didn't want him to leave. Before we start, if you're a regular viewer, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the easiest and most efficient way to support the channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm really glad you're here and I hope you enjoy the story now. Let's begin. I didn't plan on inviting him in. He'd stop by, like he always did once, or twice a week since the funeral, sometimes to drop off groceries, sometimes just to check the locks or take out the trash, always with that same look in his eyes. Gentle, tired, like he still wasn't sure if it was okay to smile. Around me today, it was a box. My husband's old things, stuff from the garage. Mostly things I hadn't asked for, things I wasn't ready to open. He stood there holding it, like it might fall apart if he moved too fast. I thanked him, took the box, and set it just inside the door. I should have said goodbye, closed it behind him, like I always did. Instead, I held it open. "You eaten yet?" I asked. He blinked. No, not yet." I nodded toward the kitchen. "I made too much." He hesitated like he always did, just in case I changed my mind. I didn't. He stepped in, and I shut the door behind him. Dinner was simple, pasta and salad. I lit a candle without thinking, then immediately regretted it. Too soft, too deliberate, too much. Almost blew it out, but he didn't say anything, so I let it stay. We talked about the usual things, weather, his truck, the old neighborhood, easy stuff, just enough to keep the silence at bay. Asked if I'd gone back to work, yet I said no. At some point, I refilled his wine glass. Without asking, he noticed. His eyes caught mine, and I held that look for half a second too long. I felt it. Then just under the surface, not attraction, not want, but something shifting. The kind of warmth that lives behind your ribs. When someone sees you, after you've been invisible for too long. He wasn't flirting, he never had. But the way he listened, the way he looked at me. When I spoke, it pulled something up. I didn't know I missed being seen, being noticed. When we finished eating, I stood to clear the plates. He moved to help, and our hands brushed at the edge of the eatable. Just for a second, bare skin on skin, but it stayed with me. I didn't pull away fast enough, and he didn't mention it. The water ran, the dishes clinked. I poured what was left of the wine, and we sat. Again this time, just a little closer than before. Neither of us said we were staying longer. We just didn't move. We weren't really drinking anymore, just holding our glasses between sentences. The candle flickered lower. The kitchen felt warmer, quieter. I didn't know if it was the wine or just him sitting there still listening. "I still sleep on my side of the bed," I said, eyes down on the rim of my glass, his sides untouched, pillows and all. He nodded slowly, like he knew better than to say anything. "I know he's gone," I added. "I really do, but some mornings I still expect to hear his keys at the door, just out of habit. Like maybe I got it wrong. Maybe none of this actually happened. He didn't try to fix it, and never did. That was the thing about him. He let silence stay where it belonged." Then he said my name softly. No pity in it, no question. Just my name, like it still meant something. Like I still meant something. and I hadn't realized how long it had been since anyone said it that way. My throat caught. I blinked hard and smiled too quickly. "I'm sorry," I said, half laughing. "I don't know why I'm talking like this." "Because you trust me," he said. "That's all." I looked at him, really looked the lines on his face. The silver at his temples, the way his hands stayed still when he talked. He looked older. Then I remembered, but stronger too. There was a time years ago when I thought he was handsome, not in the same way my husband was. He was quiet, grounded, the kind of man who didn't need to fill a room to own it. And now he was sitting in my kitchen, drinking my wine, saying my name, like it was something worth hearing again. That warmth came, back low in my chest, just under the ribs. But this time it brought something else. With it guilt, because I didn't just want the company, I wanted his attention. I wanted the way he looked at me to last a little longer. And I knew I shouldn't, not yet. Maybe not ever. I shifted in my seat, trying to brush the thought away, but it stayed quiet, uninvited, settling in. Like something I'd tried not to name, he finished his wine and set the glass down, gently. "It's late," he said. I should have said thank you, should have walked him to the door like I always did. But I didn't move, not. Yet I stood to rinse the glasses. I didn't ask him to stay, and he didn't say he was going. We were both pretending. This night was like any other, even though we both knew it wasn't he. Followed me to the sink, just far enough to help. He picked up the dishes without asking, rinsed without being told. We moved like we'd done this before. Maybe not together, but close enough to feel familiar. Our hands brushed again, this time over a plate. He didn't move away. I didn't either. I handed him a towel. He drew quietly while I stacked the clean plates. And for a few minutes, it almost felt normal. Like this wasn't a night tangled in everything I'd lost and everything I wasn't supposed to want. But when I turned to thank him, he was closer than I expected, just a few feet close enough that I could feel it, that silence between us, stretching thinner than it had. All night he didn't speak, just met my eyes for a moment that lasted too long. His gaze dropped to my mouth, then back up like he didn't mean to let it wander, like he caught himself. And still, he didn't step back. "I should probably," he started, voice low. "You don't have to," I said, cutting him off too quickly. "I mean, not if you're comfortable." I regretted the words as soon as they left my mouth, not because I didn't mean them, but because of how much I did. He blinked. "You sure?" I nodded. "Yeah." The moment settled. He wasn't smiling. Neither was I. I sat back down, this time on the couch instead of the table. I didn't invite him to join me, but he did, slowly, carefully, like he was waiting to be told. No, I didn't tell him anything. We sat side by side, legs almost touching, not quite, not yet. A quiet song played from the little speaker on the counter, something soft and slow, the kind of thing you don't notice until it's the only sound left in the room. And still, he didn't move away. So I did, just an inch, just enough that our knees touched, just enough that I could feel the heat of his arm along mine. He turned just slightly, eyes meeting mine in that same way he always had, with patience, with stillness, with every chance in the world to stop. I leaned in. He didn't stop me. And when his hand found mine, slow, careful, waiting form to pull away, I should have let go. Thanked him for dinner, walked him to the door, and shut the night down like I had every other time. But I didn't because, somewhere, between the silence and the candlelight, something shifted, and once I noticed it, I couldn't pretend I hadn't. I wasn't reaching for him out of desire, not even comfort. I just couldn't bear being untouched for one more night, and I hated myself for that. When he leaned in, I let it happen, not because it felt right, but because stopping it felt lonelier. His kiss was soft, careful, like he thought I might shatter. Part of meal ready had we didn't talk. Words would have made it too real. Too permanent, too hard to deny. In the morning, when we moved to the bedroom, it wasn't romantics. It wasn't even kind. It was mechanical. Two people going through emotion that meant something different to each of us. I turned my back to undress, not out of shame, but because I didn't want to see the look on his face. I didn't want to know if he was relieved or conflicted, because I already knew how I felt, like I was betraying someone who wasn't even here to see it. I got under the covers, without ceremony, just the way I had every night, for months. But this time, someone followed. He joined me slowly, leaving just enough distance for me to close, or keep. I didn't close it when his hand found mine again. It felt unreal, not in a magical way, in a wrong way, like something borrowed that I hadn't earned. And yet I clung to it, not because I wanted him, but because I didn't want Toby alone in this moment I had created and could no longer undo. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. Every inch between us filled with the ghosts of things unsaid. He touched my arm, my shoulder just once, gentle, and I turned into it, not out of need, but weakness. I wanted to scream at myself, stop, turn back, don't do this. This isn't how you heal. But I didn't, because I wasn't healing. I was hiding from the grief, from the silence, from the reality that I missed being needed, even by someone who would never truly be mine. And the worst part, I felt everything. It felt warmth, stillness, security, and I hated how badly I had missed it, because my husband had given me all of that, and here I was taking it from someone else, like it didn't come with a price. When it was over, whatever it was, we just laid there side by side, breathing. I could feel his presence beside me, quiet, steady, and demanding, and somehow that made it worse, because he didn't do anything wrong. He'd been patient, respectful, still the same man who'd shown up every week without asking for anything in return. And I was the one who invited him in, was the one who couldn't take the silence anymore. I should have cried. He should have said something, but all I could do was lie there completely still, with one thought echoing louder than theirs. I crossed a line that only existed in my own heart, and I couldn't take it back. Before you leave, answer this. If you're in her place, still grieving, still figuring out how to move forward, would you have stopped it or let it happen? Anyway, be honest. I'll be reading the comments, and while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next story. Thanks for watching.